Saint Lucia's not flooded with all-inclusive resorts.
That is correct.
And
they have some.
They have a few. But it's not as flooded as some of the other Caribbean locations. And the landings is not naturally all-inclusive, but you can add meal plan options.
Correct.
Which a lot of the resorts in St. Lucia have that option where you can either just pay for your stay or you can pay for different meal options if you want to eat once or twice or whatever a day. They have those options.
Yeah, and sometimes you'll see it listed as an all-inclusive supplement, which just make sure you read, because I know sometimes we just see the word all-inclusive
and just add it
and just automatically, but make sure you read what is actually being included, because it could just be meals.
Exactly.
And you still have to pay for drinks, or it could be a drink plan and all that. So a lot of the St. Lucian properties do have those variations. Those options, very, very true.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all. Hey. Welcome to another episode of Travel,
Fly,
Sexy. I'm your co-host, Natasha Wilson, owner of Travel Goddess International.
And I am your co-host, sincerely, Jasmine, owner of Boss Babes Love Brunch.
Period. So we have a fun episode for you guys, but more importantly, before we jump in, can we just say cheers to episode 10, y'all? We made it to 10 episodes. We 10 years old. It's like, no. But I think that's a great milestone.
Yes.
Like, I mean, it may be small to the giants, but it is big to us.
Definitely.
So thank you guys for sticking around with us for 10 episodes. And we hope that you'll hang out with us for 10 plus more.
Exactly.
But nevertheless, today's episode is all about Saint Lucia. But more importantly, we are going to break down why Saint Lucia is not necessarily just for the honeymooners and the couples.
Yes.
Because we went and we friends and we had a good time.
Girls trip and it was a blast.
Period.
So we're going to talk about Saint Lucia. But before we get into that, y'all already know, gotta smell.
Gotta smell. From our inbox to yours, a little trending travel topics for your life.
Yes. So this week, not as ratchet as I usually get. This week is very informative, though, and valuable to our travelers. So, American Airlines recently, they issued that they will be charging $75 for check bags. So, if you're familiar with American, you know that airfare usually comes with a personal item, a carry-on, and a check bag. However, now basic economy will just be including that personal item and your carry-on. Any additional bags will have to be purchased through American Airlines.
Right. And $75 is husky.
Yeah, that's a little steep, especially for a check bag.
Yeah. I mean, $75 is usually the cost for your second check bag with them. But they said basic economy, you already got your flight discounted, so you're going to pay $75 for the first bag. Now, it's important, a couple of things, key things to note here, guys, before you go like, oh my gosh, I'm not flying American no more because they want you to be $75. It's not that. So understand there's a few caveats to this. Number one, and most importantly, this is applicable when you're flying internationally far, meaning Europe, Asia, Africa, like those destinations. Those were the ones that normally you would get that first check bag free.
Exactly.
It's not applicable to Mexico and the Caribbean and some of the Central and South America, and of course domestic. So those policies will still remain as they are, with $35, I think it is, or $40 first check bag, and then so forth. So not to be alarmed, but for those that are traveling far, with the planes that usually got the 3 rows and the big jaws. Yeah, those don't include that check bag anymore.
Nope. And those are the ones where you usually need it.
Yeah.
When you take those long distance travel, you're going very far. You know, that's when the time you're going back 6, 8, 9 hours ahead or behind. So
or you're just bringing your looks.
Yeah, you usually
need your space in the luggage.
Those are usually the more lengthy because the travel time is longer, so your trip is usually longer. So you might have like a 9-day trip to Europe, and you won't have to pay what you weigh.
Yeah. So just keep it in mind if you are purchasing or considering purchasing basic economy ticket class.
Yes.
Now, again, basic economy are typically the ones that are the first option. They're usually the lowest priced point that you'll see, and they're non-refundable. So there's already some challenges when purchasing that particular classification anyways, But now you also will be charged that $75 for that bag.
Right. And I thought this was valuable simply because it's showing how the major airlines are following suit of the budget airlines. So, if you go back a few episodes, we talked about Spirit and Frontier and all the pros and cons that go with flying budget airlines. But a lot of our major faves, such as American, United, JetBlue, are following suit when it comes to the basic economy is very similar to a Spirit or a Frontier airfare where you don't get anything.
Right.
So you may find yourself not being able to select a seat with some of the major airlines now. You may find yourself having to purchase your personal your carry-on or your check bag, depending on the flight.
Yes, because JetBlue's basic blue.
Exactly.
No carry-on, baby.
No carry-on.
Like,
yep.
Y'all already know how I feel about my spirits. Go back and watch episode 7.
Yes.
You'll understand. This is no different at this point. Like, what are we talking about here?
It's the same thing. So y'all faves are following suit to our faves. And I just wanted to make note of that because it's big news. A lot of people are like, damn, American, I have to pay $75 now. And
or
it's like
basic economy, I have to pay for my seat.
Exactly.
You can't even select a seat in most of the basic economy classes. Regardless of the airline.
Exactly. Yep. And United is similar, like you said, with JetBlue. United, I was very surprised.
No carry on, baby.
I booked a flight. I went to Houston on Delta, came back on United, and I was like,
yeah,
I have to pay more money. And if I would have knew that, I would have
just bought the regular fare or found a Spirit flight.
Exactly. Because personally, if I'm going to be paying extra, I want to go the cheapest route.
Yeah, because I would like my extra to be as limited extra as possible.
Exactly, right. So that was just something to note.
That is not just something to note. That is major airline news.
Pay attention to what's happening.
I was just going to say that there is a huge shift headed our way in the airline industry, and we need to be paying attention, and not more like a, oh my gosh, the world's ending type of thing. No, but it's just pay attention to the pros and the cons. Definitely. And, maybe start to really realize where and how these airlines fit into your needs and your budget.
Exactly.
Not necessarily just because of the name of the airline.
Exactly.
All right?
Yep.
Well, anyways,
on to better news.
I will say American will not be getting $75 out of me because
we don't check bags anyway.
That I'm also gold status with them, and I also am a credit card holder with them.
Period.
So those are the people that are not affected by this.
Exactly. So again, know how it applies to you based on your status with the airline and your preferences. But yeah, they charge you.
Child, not 75. 75 is egregious. Nevertheless, let's get into
Saint Lucia.
Our episode for today. Funny enough, we flew JetBlue.
Yeah, we did. And I had to pay for a bag. So, yeah. Pay attention to those basic economy tickets.
And I had to pay for my bag.
I did. I thought I caught a steal. Like, no, they're stealing.
That's great. So as we mentioned at the top of the hour or top of the show, we will be doing a deep dive into Saint Lucia today, and really focusing on how the experience can be great for groups of friends or girls trips, guys trips, or just a couple of friends that are getting together. Mm-hmm. Because as we all know, even honestly, the marketing for the island itself,
very honeymoon-esque.
Saint Lucia is for lovers.
Yes.
Well, right? Friends
very
need not apply.
Yeah.
But we're dispelling that myth today.
Exactly. So we're showing you how you can also have fun in Saint Lucia when it's not a vacation.
Correct. So let's jump right in to accommodations and then work our way up and through the island from there. So we stayed at the Landings Saint Lucia.
Yes.
Which is on, I guess, the north side of the island, which is like near Castries, particularly Rodney Bay, I believe is the area.
Exactly.
So it's approximately 1.5 hours to 2 hours from the airport, depending on the driver and the traffic.
Mm-hmm. And the time of day, I would say.
And the time of day, yes, because it was the evening.
Yeah, we got there.
So we got there
hell of an experience to get to Saint Lucia. We were delayed on our JetBlue flight, and then we got there, which ultimately worked out better for the traffic. We got there in the evening, so it was pitch black by the time we hit the road.
And that sounds like, okay, it was nighttime. No. These are windy roads up steep hills with little to no street
No
lights. Okay. Honestly, I feel like no lights, but I didn't want to scare you.
Yeah.
So I said little to no. But y'all, So you definitely want to arrive during the day.
Early if you can.
But nevertheless, we can't control the skies.
Exactly.
So we were there in the evening. So nevertheless, that's what I'm like 1 hour, 1.5 to 2 hours, but we got there pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But that area itself is very popular for the cruise ships that dock there. So our resort was maybe a 10-minute ride from the port in Castries, and all of the shops and all of the, if you've never taken a cruise and been and docked in a cruise area, then you may not know this, but if you have, then you understand that typically where you dock is a very happening area of the town or the city or the island in which you're visiting, because it's geared around the cruise tourism. So that's important to note that our, hotel is pretty close to here, because you can do other things outside of the property fairly easily. With that being said, the hotel itself, what did it have? 2 restaurants?
2 restaurants on property.
3 bars.
And 3 bars. The beach was beautiful. Set right on the beach.
Was beautiful.
Yeah, the beach was beautiful.
Like, that's a beach you can get lost on, and not like lost like you don't know your way, just lost in the beauty and the quietness, the sereneness, and all of that. It really was lovely, and the hotel was perfectly positioned.
And they had a beach restaurant, actually. So 3 restaurants. So
3. You're right.
Yeah, they had
the one that was near.
I forgot about that as well.
Near where you go, like, get your tours.
Exactly. They had like a little beach restaurant where they'll come to you and bring food to you on the beach, food and drinks.
And
so that was great.
There were good. Too.
Yeah. So 3 restaurants in total. There were various pools throughout. I do believe the property is family friendly.
It is.
So there were like smaller pools that kind of like lived within. The property was huge.
I was just about to say that this was a large property. So to give you context, it is a property that is half hotel or resort, and then half is like villas and being occupied by people that have purchased these condos.
Yes.
That may be living there or may live there in their, summer months, whatever the case might be. So it's huge. But because of that, it's also your villa is huge.
Yes,
so
like huge.
This is why it's great for friends groups, because we each had, so it was 6 of us that went, and we had 2 3-bedroom villas.
Exactly.
And all of the bedrooms had private bathrooms in them. And then we had full living rooms, huge balconies with plunge pools on the balconies. And then we had full kitchens and a powder room. So really a 3-bedroom villa with a 3.5 bath.
Yep.
Like, it was perfect. And then the rooming accommodations were king beds, queen beds, double bed.
The rooms were gorgeous. Like, kind of beautiful. Like, I would say maybe like a Victorian style, the rooms, but
modern.
Modern, very like rich.
Yes.
I would say.
Very rich.
It was like a European feel, I would say, with the room styles. But like Tasha said, everybody had their own bathroom. So when it came to time to get ready, perfect for a girls trip. Because when that time come, like, oh, we got to go to dinner or we got to do this. And it's like, okay, it's 3 of us in 1 bathroom.
Yes.
And 2 mirrors. How we going to figure this out? So everyone had their own bathroom. The balcony space was gorgeous, overseeing either the beach or internally of the resort. Exactly.
I can't say enough about this resort being the ideal location for groups of friends, for families that are traveling with multi-generations or just kids in general. Like, the layouts of these villas, and they have 2 bedrooms and they have 1 bedrooms as well. But everything is a suite. So everything is going to include a full kitchen, a living room, an outdoor space. And they're beautiful.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Like, really, really beautiful. And again, 1.5 hours or so from the airport, but in my opinion, worth it. And that drive is also extremely scenic. So it's not like you're just driving around. Like, it's beautiful. You can stop, you can get out, you can take photos.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And I would say, if you're going to Saint Lucia, prepare for an hour plus
it just felt like
ride
that was
wherever you're going. Simply because that's how the resorts are placed. They're placed along the coast of the island, in those more touristy areas, so you can kind of get to other things. So we were on the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 side, which was an hour and a half this way, but you can go an hour and a half that way, and other resorts on that end. So
also part of that is there is no like real roads.
Yeah.
So most of that drive is up and through these windy mountainous hill streets.
Yeah.
So you also can't be flying around the curve on those. So you have to kind of go a certain mile per hour, which does slow down your drive time.
Yeah.
Because that would be crazy.
One important thing I will mention about the landings, they are not all inclusive.
Correct.
So we speak a lot on all-inclusive resorts, especially when traveling in the Caribbean, because that's a big selling point. But Saint Lucia's not flooded with all-inclusive resorts.
That is correct.
And
they have some.
They have a few, but it's not as flooded as some of the other Caribbean locations. And the landings is not naturally all-inclusive, but you can add meal plan options.
Correct.
Which a lot of the resorts in St. Lucia have that option where you can either just pay for your stay or you can pay for different meal options if you want to eat once or twice or whatever a day. They have those options.
Yeah, and sometimes you'll see it listed as an all-inclusive supplement, which just make sure you read, because I know sometimes we just see the word all-inclusive
And just add it.
and just automatically, but make sure you read what is actually being included, because it could just be meals.
Exactly.
And you still have to pay for drinks, or it could be a drink plan and all that. So a lot of the St. Lucian properties do have those variations.
Those options,
very, very true. What I will say, this property wasn't quite giving, let me turn up. So although we're talking about friend groups, I didn't necessarily feel like it was turn up time. And they also had quiet hours that started at like 10 or 10:30.
Yeah.
So,
which I liked.
Yeah, like if you go back and watch our episodes, Jasmine and I really be in the bed
Chilling.
after a certain hour. Like you might catch us at the lobby bar, but it's
10:30's cut for me anyway, so that worked perfect. But if you're looking for more of a turn up, again, do your research. The landings may not be for you, or you may want to go off resort to explore that. Because I know that we work pretty close to some like clubs that were like right off the road. Exactly.
Yeah, so there you go. Do your research, and it also depends on what time you visit the island as well, because you could be visiting around their multitude of festivals that they have, or Carnival, or just all those different things that will then yield itself to providing you more entertainment, if that's your thing.
Definitely. So speaking of entertainment,
I was going to say things to do. Yeah,
let's talk about some of the things to do on a resort, and then some of the things we did off the resort.
Yeah. I was actually rather impressed with the offerings of things to do on the resort, because they really just had like a full non-motorized and motorized selection. So non-motorized, definitely still had your paddle boards, your kayaks and that stuff. But then they had, for motorized, they had the banana boat. They had what is that thing called?
The sail?
It's like called like a hobby cat. I almost think
it's like a little sail ship. Well,
I really think it's called a hobby cat, and I could not figure out what it was called. But
we did that.
We did that. You essentially, it looks like a mini catamaran. That's the best way I can describe it.
Literally, it's like a mini catamaran.
A sailboat with a catamaran net in it, and it's small. So it was 4 of us on each of them, and you just go out and you're on the water, and it is kind of like motorized because there's a propeller, but the captain, if you will, is still kind of it's a very interesting thing, but
it's included.
Very cool, right?
Yeah, so if you do it,
exactly.
Give it a go.
So they really did have a great program of options for you to be able to essentially not have to leave the resort, particularly if you wanted to stay, because I always like to say that some people do not like to leave, and that is fine. They also have a dock on property.
Yes.
So if you do have, or if you desire to have boat rentals or take out a boat or do boat tours, it can pick you up right on the property, which I always thought that was a great benefit. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially in St. Lucia, because like you said, it's a boat cruise area. So, if you want to get a boat out or, maybe kind of be on the water for the day, you can go right back to the resort.
Yeah. that's an easy thing. Like nobody want to be on them roads.
Right.
I'm gonna tell y'all, the roads is stressful.
Yeah,
I don't
those
care what
roads
anybody
were-
says. I'm fine because I'm just like, I know what to expect. But don't feel ashamed if you go and you're like, let me hang on to my seat. This is not okay.
Especially if you're like a motion sickness person.
Yeah.
You're not going to love that drive. Go to sleep.
You always telling somebody to go to sleep. I can't. So those are things to do on site, but then also
off site.
There's plenty of things to do off site.
So exploring Saint Lucia was so great. Like the island, like Saint Lucia might have been the most beautiful island I've been on, and I haven't been a lot of places.
Well, fun fact, it is technically listed as the most beautiful island.
Wow.
And it's called her island, and it's technically the only island that is named after a woman in the Caribbean. And it is the only like female island in the Caribbean.
Love that.
Yes.
Shout out to Saint Lucia.
Exactly. So it's supposed to be that big.
Yeah. That girl, the one. So you have to add Saint Lucia to your travel list because obviously the resort options are awesome, but the island itself is
gorgeous.
Gorgeous. So for our excursion day, did we do 2 excursions? No, our first stop was the Sulphur Springs.
Right. We just did a bunch in a day.
We did a bunch in one day.
But we did one day.
Very long day because, again, we are already like an hour and a half in from the airport.
Facts.
So our first stop was the Sulphur Springs, which if you are in Saint Lucia, you have to experience the Sulphur Springs.
Yeah.
I'm sure you probably saw it on Instagram, TikTok. It's the little mud baths.
Yep.
But this one is different than, I know they have it in like Colombia and different locations, but the one that St. Lucia is so unique because it actually has sulfur in the mud, which is good for your skin. So Sulphur Springs was a great experience.
Yes. I particularly, again, it was a group of 6 of us, and not for nothing, Black women. So you know, going to these different things and experiencing these different excursions is always interesting to kind of just watch how people watch us, right? Like, I'm just being transparent here. So I was like watching how people were like taking to us and just trying to understand what we were doing and why we were here. And we were just having a blast. And after a while, it also made people kind of just put their guard down and just enjoy.
Yes.
Like you're in St. Lucia, you're at the Sulphur Springs, you know you came here because you saw it on TikTok or on the internet and you wanted to try it out. And it has so many health benefits, yes, but you just came here so you can see you did it. And that's fine. But it was so cool to just experience that with you guys. And again, the health positive benefits with the Sulphur Springs is like, you really can't take a pill for it.
Definitely.
So again, if you are in St. Lucia and you do want to experience that, I highly recommend it.
Definitely.
But it was great to experience it with the girls.
Exactly. Yeah. And like we keep saying, St. Lucia is geared towards couples or families. So it's like different to see this large group of women
with
like
thongs
just
on.
body out, like
body.
So again, it took like a while for them to adjust to that, but it was a great experience for us nonetheless. I would certainly suggest wearing a dark swimsuit. I wore a pink swimsuit. I don't know why.
Yes.
And it was ruined.
That is a great tip.
Or even a throwaway. If you're going to do the Sulphur Spring, get a throwaway for that because it'll probably still have that sulfur smell. You don't want to pack that in your clothes bag. So I would just get a throwaway dark swimsuit for both the guys and the girls.
Absolutely.
For that particular experience. So
excellent point. Because I definitely left that swimsuit.
Yeah, that swimsuit wasn't that bad.
I was like, I don't need this that bad.
So don't bring your fave.
It's not worth it. Yeah, don't bring your fave. Absolutely.
No.
And the Sulphur Spring was approximately an hour
from the resort.
Yeah, just about. Like I said, most of the things are going to be because you take an hour and a half to the resort, then most of the things are going to be the opposite way in what is it, 𝗚𝗡𝗡𝗃𝗃, which is approximately an hour to an hour and a half the opposite way. So
like right on the other side.
On the other side.
So 𝗚𝗡𝗡𝗃𝗃 Airport and then Rodney Bay.
Exactly. But that's also where that 𝗚𝗡𝗡𝗃𝗃 and that side is where you'll find the pitons.
Yes.
Famous pitons.
Oh my gosh.
They are St. Lucia. if you don't know what the pitons are, shame on you.
Yeah.
This is probably the most scenic entity that
In the world?
that I've seen on my travels that like just really made me stop and be like, what am I looking at right now?
Breathtaking. And we had to stop. So we stopped along our ride to our next stop. And we like had to hop out. We're like, we need to stop, hop out and get these photos and get this experience. So if you're not familiar, you know, do your Googles, but it's the big mountains where the little people go and look like you're trying to touch the top of the pitons. But they are huge. And that's the highlight of Saint Lucia, really, when it comes to the backdrop. Towering
mountains over the entire landscape. And fun fact, you can actually hike these.
Not me, but
yeah, not I, guys. I'm little work as possible, but you can. I think one of them you can hike. The other one is a little bit too much terrain.
That was actually supposed to be on our list for that day, but the weather was a little iffy. I think we were supposed to go on a hike one day.
Well, I don't know why. I don't know who signed off on that.
I'm pretty sure we were supposed to go on a hike, and the weather just, because it started raining when we were driving out. The weather didn't permit, but a hike was supposed to be a part of that day too.
No, God did not permit. Yeah, he understood the assignment.
He knew, because we wasn't doing it. Because we had a hike at the next location. So
I did not read that, but that's fine.
The next spot was, I would personally say, my highlight of the trip. Project 𝗚𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗃.
Yes.
So we got to experience Hotel 𝗚𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗃, which is a hotel in Saint Lucia, where if you want to stay there, you can.
You can.
But there is an experience on their property, which is called Project 𝗚𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗃. And you get to fully experience the chocolate experience.
Yeah. Like fully immerse yourself.
From the bean to the bar, literally. Yes. I think that might be their slogan, from the bean to the bar. If not,
Jasmine just gave you all one. There you go.
But from the bean to the bar, literally, you get to see the process of seeing these beans grow. We got to grow our own beans.
We did. Then we got to make our own chocolate. Oh, wait. We did.
See, this was a while ago.
Okay.
We got to plant our own beans.
We definitely did. All right.
That was so fun.
Now we got to go to the full. Okay. So with Project 𝗚𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗃, when you get there, you're greeted and you're put into groups. And because our group size, it pretty much was just us.
Yeah.
I think it was another couple with us. But first things first, we got
lunch.
Yes, the lunch. And the cool thing about lunch, which was included in the ticket that we had, they have separate ticket that don't include lunch, but I'll just say include the lunch because
while you're there,
all the menu items had chocolate infused or made in them in some way.
Yep.
So like there were like chocolate buffalo wings or something like that.
There was wings.
There was white chocolate mac and cheese.
Yes.
Like it was so dope and delicious.
Yeah, it was really good.
And so you would be like, why is this? But it was you could tell it was very little, and it was cooked down enough to just be a compliment instead of an overpowering essence. But it was so good
and different. Like, it's unique to be able to, I had chocolate mac.
Yes.
It sounds gross, but it was good.
Not it sound gross.
Yeah, I was literally telling people, they're like, what? You got chocolate chicken wings?
Yes.
Like, yeah, they were good.
They were. So that was a cool experience in the cafe area. And also in the cafe area, it is very, again, content friendly.
Oh, cute. Real cute.
Real cute. For my content girls and guys. So if not for nothing, make sure you add that to your ticket to take advantage of the content spaces.
Exactly.
And then from there, we started our tour.
Right. So our tour guide took us down to where the beans grow. So we kind of went through a tour of the different stages of like when they first start growing to where they get to that peak age when it's time to start picking them.
Yeah.
And then after that, we got to plant our own. So we went in like a greenhouse and we all like partnered up and got to plant our own cocoa bean.
Yes. And this was like a part of the experience. And like to Jasmine's point, we need to call them and check on the status.
I'm like, where are my chocolate
of our plant? Like,
is my plant okay?
They made us name the plant. They told us where we could basically check on its life.
Yeah, definitely.
I just never did.
So we gotta check on our chocolate plants. But that is such a cool experience.
Yeah.
So to be able to not only get to understand the cycle of chocolate, but you get to kind of plant your own chocolate.
Yeah, and like leave your mark. Essentially, that's what it felt like we were doing. Like we were leaving our little chocolate baby in Saint Lucia.
Exactly.
And so after we did that, then we kind of just took a tour of the grounds, which again,
gorgeous property.
Also very scenic.
Yes.
Oh
my gosh.
And
gorgeous.
a cool picture of the pitons were found through that beautiful garden. This property is acres and acres and acres. Let's just be clear.
Huge.
So hotel is on it. The Project Chocolate experience is on it.
The chocolate
farm is on it. Then there's this just gorgeous garden. It's a stunning place. So if you're not even interested in chocolate, but you just like the outdoors experience, or again, if you just want dope content, this is going to give you everything you need.
Add it to your list.
And then
we got to make chocolate.
I was just going to say, and then we got to make chocolate.
That was the cool, like honestly,
we made chocolate bars.
One of the coolest experiences I've ever did on vacation.
It was so fun.
Like I wasn't expecting it.
I was actually very salty though, because my chocolate bar melted.
Oh, before you got home?
I forgot it was in my bag.
Oh.
And I had my bag like in the hot.
Yeah, and it was and we had a long transition because we flew out of JFK. So to get from Saint Lucia to the airport, from the hotel to the airport, from the airport back home.
That was so sad, guys.
It was cool though. So you get to make your own chocolate bar there, literally from grounding the beans down to adding a little sugar and little butter to soften it up.
Yeah.
And then framing your bar and letting it sit. And then they had a chocolate bar too.
I was going to say, so after we put them in the molding so that they can cool off, which I think was like a 30 to 40 minute process, they then were like, well, you can go hang out. And we were like, there's a bar. That also specializes in chocolate infused drinks.
Y'all know me. I want to get a chocolate espresso martini.
This was also the first time I had one because of Jasmine.
It was so good.
And I will say it was cute.
Yeah. And I mean, what better drink to get at a chocolate bar than to get a chocolate espresso martini?
They did that.
They did that.
And then I guess the foam was also some type of chocolate, white chocolate. It was delicious. So if you haven't gathered, we really enjoyed
Project
Chocolat in Saint Lucia. And again, it was a great experience for friends. Like we all got to hang out and just enjoy each other, make chocolate, have lunch, go to the bar. Like it was a lot of fun. Full
day of fun.
Yes. What else? Did we do anything else?
We were supposed to hike, so we didn't hike.
You keep talking about this ghost hike.
It was supposed to be a hike, but it rained. We did get those pictures. We got those pictures at the pitons, which we'll probably insert a picture here.
Yes.
But other than that, we enjoyed the resort. We spent the day at that beach bar. Eating and drinking at the beach. That was the same day that we did the sailing.
Yeah.
So we basically had a resort day. And then we had our excursion day and then we spent half of the day touring the resort and all that they had to offer and doing dinner with them.
Yeah. I mean, again, if you haven't gathered, we're like an in and out type of people. 4 days, 3 nights. But if you need more time and you can get more time, obviously your vacation is your vacation. Then there's plenty of ways to fill up the other days. But we just, we're always like, let's get in, let's get out.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, let's just maybe jump into a couple of travel tips for St. Lucia because there's a lot to really know when traveling to this island that you may not know just from bird's eye view.
Definitely.
So the first thing that, we already talked about it, but I'll reiterate it. Them roads are windy, guys.
Yes.
They're windy, all right? So to Jasmine's point earlier, if motion sickness is your thing, like take what you need to take. What is it, Dramamine or something?
Yeah, bring
in
it with
advance because the roads are very windy. But in addition to the roads being windy, they also are very scenic. So you will likely get some of the best vacation photos. of your album for your gram on your trip to Saint Lucia.
Like these pictures, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
St. Lucia is the perfect backdrop. Like, let's just say that. Another travel tip I would say, I mean, me personally, I kind of stay out the water. But if you're resort, if you're staying at the landings or a different resort that lies on the beach, keep in mind that the water can be a little more choppy than some of the other Caribbean destinations.
Yeah. So with St. Lucia specifically, to just add to what Jasmine is saying, it is an island that is basically one side of the island is in the Atlantic and the other side is in the Caribbean, right? So with that, you will get more of the choppy waters if your resort is positioned on the Atlantic Ocean side versus the calmer seas if your resort is positioned on the Caribbean side.
Exactly.
So really do your research when selecting your resorts. And a lot of the resorts in the 𝗓𝗡𝗡𝗃 area, particularly ones that are nearer to the airport, those are ones that you'll find that are going to be on that Atlantic side and give you those choppy waters. So pay attention or use a travel agent.
Yes, exactly. Because you want to, those might not be the places where you want to do those sailing excursions.
And that's going to be tricky.
So just be mindful of that and exploring your resort options.
The other thing I'll say as a travel tip is if you can, because this might not be available depending on the provider that you use, but if you can, a great way to experience St. Lucia would be on an excursion day, would be to drive your way to your excursions. If you're staying in Rodney Bay where we were and making your way down to 𝗓𝗡𝗃𝗃, but then sail back. If you can take a boat or a catamaran or a ferry or something back to the Castries, Rodney Bay area, then you kind of get the best of both worlds in one day.
Exactly.
And that was a really cool experience that I did the first time I visited St. Lucia. And I was just like, wow, I would have not thought of that because it's not always offered, but all we did was ask. And then our tour guide made it happen.
So cool.
And it was convenient because, again, we mentioned the landings has a dock.
A dock, exactly. So
they were able to take us right to the landings.
Exactly.
Which was dope.
So cool.
Yeah. Any other fun tips before we jump into transportation?
I would just say know what you're going to St. Lucia for. I have a lot of clients who express that they want to go somewhere in the Caribbean and they'll mention St. Lucia. And we talked about it earlier in the episode. This is not the most turn up destination. Obviously depends on the time of year. If you are going specifically for a festival or something that's a little bit more turn up, then you'll have those options. But it is more of a calm, serene environment, relaxing environment, family friendly, again, very couple oriented. But we had a very successful girls trip.
Yes.
But we are not like those super turn up, let's get lit. Like, you know, you might have a group of girls that are like, I'm ready to go. Where's the club at? And there are clubs if that's something that you want to do, but know what you're going for. So that way, when you're setting your schedule up, when you're picking your resort, you know, and you have your expectations set before arrival. Because again, St. Lucia has been one of the most beautiful places I've been, but much more relaxing and serene than lit.
Yeah. So for those people that are out there thinking, I'm about to go to one of the Saints because everyone keep going to Mexico and Jamaica. Slow your roll because Mexico and Jamaica give what they're supposed to give.
Period.
And
every
if
time
you're looking for a particular experience, as Jasmine mentioned, do your research on those Saints before you choose.
It's not all just because it's in the Caribbean. It's not always given turn up. It's not always
it's not always Carnival 24/7.
Exactly. So know what you're going for and, you know, when you're going and why.
Precisely. Great point, Jazz. So before we wrap up on this topic, I definitely want to touch on transportation.
Yes.
Because there's multiple ways that you can make your way around the island. So first things first, obviously, ground transportation, airport transportation. So you can just, you know, get your private or shared transfer to your property. And like we mentioned earlier, our property was about approximately an hour and a half or so from the airport. So we did that by car.
Exactly.
But you also have the option with many of the resorts to do a helicopter or a flight transfer, because a lot of the properties have the helipads on them. Specifically, I remember the helipad at Jade Mountain, which again, for those of you that know Jade Mountain or don't, Jade Mountain is in Saint Lucia.
Yes, Jade Mountain is Saint Lucia.
Jade Mountain is Saint Lucia. When you think of Saint Lucia, you think of pitons and Jade Mountain.
Exactly.
So for the girls and guys that are like, I want to be at Jade Mountain, it's in Saint Lucia. But they specifically had a helipad because, as you can imagine, celebrities galore stayed there. And the celebrities is not about to take an hour and a half drive. Most times. Some of them like the scenery, but most of the times get me to where I'm going. So you can do that. And then also a newly added way to maneuver is the ferry now.
Yep.
So they have this ferry. It's about a 2-hour drive, but it is like a luxury ferry. It's a fairly inexpensive ticket price round trip, but it includes your drinks. It is multi-level. Yeah. Multi-level. So you can get you can reserve a seat on the deck if you want to be outside, or you can do the inside cabins, and it's nice. And I'm like,
we love some drinks.
To St. Lucia, I am going to try this ferry option, because I was reading about that and I was like, this is new. Haven't got a chance to try it, but if you're out there and you give it a try, let us know and drop it in the comments.
That's so cool.
Yes, so you can definitely maneuver multiple ways around that island, and you should. What else?
So Saint Lucia, basically to wrap it up, if Saint Lucia is on your list, these are things that you must do. Obviously, we stayed at the landings.
Yes.
But when it comes to exploring the island, Sulphur Springs, a must do. Project Chocolate.
For sure.
A must do.
Without question.
Yeah, a must do. And that's a full day experience in itself. So if you don't do nothing else and just do that,
yeah, you'll
be satisfied.
Absolutely.
And visiting the pitons.
Yes.
Which is, just aesthetically pleasing. You get in touch with the culture and the history of St. Lucia.
Yes.
But yeah, I definitely think St. Lucia is a great destination. I have a lot of clients, again, that are inquiring about it. And like you said, everybody talking about the saints.
The saints. St. Martin, St. Lucia.
Yeah, all the saints.
All right, we got it, y'all. We got it.
Yeah, so if St. Lucia is on your list, definitely check out the landings, and let us know if you need help booking.
Period, because in case you didn't know, and we need to remind you, Jasmine and I are both a part of Travel Goddess International, which is a full-service travel agency that can assist with bringing your next unforgettable vacation experience to life. So if you desire to go to St. Lucia, St. Martin, St. Thomas, wherever the saints will take you, or anywhere around the globe, hit us up, and Jasmine or I or our team of travel agents can make that happen for you. Sounds good?
Period.
Sounds great. Favorite thing about St. Lucia?
Favorite thing about St. Lucia... it was Project Chocolate. Like that experience. That's still yours.
This is the first time though. But no, I got another one. That's fine.
That experience was like none other, like a gorgeous property. Like, so once we entered the grounds of the hotel, huge, gorgeous property. You can tell fairly new. Very, you can get the pics. Very content friendly. And the experience was just great. Like a full day. Like we made our own chocolate. Like, took the beans and put it in at the end. Like it was just so cool. Yes. I didn't think I was gonna be strong enough. So the fact that I did it, proud of me. Favorite moment.
Great. My favorite thing about St. Lucia, outside of Project Chocolate, because duh, would have also been our little mini excursion on the property. I was really pleased with their on-property offerings for the motorized and non-motorized sports.
Yeah.
And us going out and taking, which again, I'm just calling it the hobby cat. I think that's what it's called. But us taking that out on the water for 30 minutes and just enjoying and seeing and being with our cocktails, like I just thought that was so fun. And it felt like something that you would do if you booked an excursion, but it was right there on the property. And I just thought that was a great way to experience the day. So yeah.
Yeah. The landing, St. Lucia, check it out.
Check it out. And of course, check it out with Travel Goddess International, because duh. So with that being said, it's a perfect segue into the traveling travel agents.
Yes.
Because guys, we're travel agents, duh.
And we be outside.
And we be outside. But we also want you to be outside. So with that being said, we shall highlight what we call our travel deal of the week. Now, if you visit our website, you'll see tons of travel deals all the time because we post new ones every day. And they're just incredible offers that you can take advantage of. If you don't want to think about or do the work in putting together your vacation, the travel deals are where it's at. But also you'll notice that some of the travel deals are marked exclusive and they require a premium membership, right? And that's okay. A premium membership is $9 a month. And then you get access to some of these absolutely incredible travel deals. So today's travel deal of the week is certainly a premium one, but I could not
resist this one.
I could not resist this because wait till y'all hear at this point, the foolery.
Y'all.
This is foolery, okay? All right, y'all. This is a 4-day, 3-night trip to Miami. And I know we've featured Miami before, but when y'all hear this, y'all understand why Miami had to make an appearance again, all right? 4 days, 3 nights to Miami in the middle of July, a weekend in the middle of July, like July 15th to the 18th, 5, 6, 7, 8, yes. Nonstop flights with Spirit Airlines, departing from Atlanta.
Yes.
At a 4-star hotel accommodation, the Clinton Hotel South Beach, which I know Jasmine loves because of their brunch.
Yes. I just booked a client for that this morning.
Okay. For all of this, 4 days, 3 nights, hotel and nonstop flights from Atlanta, y'all, for $169 a person. Ciao.
Less than $200 for a trip is crazy.
You got what?
That's nuts.
A flight is $169.
And I love that it's out of Atlanta because, you know, we love our Atlanta folks.
We love y'all.
Y'all right there. Get that $169 straight to Miami.
In the middle of July on a weekend?
Summer in Miami is crazy.
Y'all, I don't even know how.
Yeah.
But I know it's real because I saw it with my own 2 eyes. All right. So again, this is a premium exclusive offer. So you do have to be a premium member to get it. But you can visit our website. We'll put the links in the show notes as well.
Yes.
And spend the $9 a month to have access to a $169 vacation. Get out my face.
You cannot beat that. Come on now.
And it's at a hotel that is fabulous for the turn up right in the mix and also has a wonderful brunch. So
it's time to get brunchy.
it's time to get brunchy.
So this week, I would have matched that. I should have did somewhere in Miami because y'all know I love Miami. But this week's brunch, we're going to the West Coast, Las Vegas.
Period.
Mimosa Gourmet.
Oh,
so
I've heard about this place.
This place, it lives off the strip, so it's not like in like downtown Las Vegas. But they specialize in these huge mimosas. So I went a few years ago. I'm going back to Vegas later this summer, so I plan on going again. You're going to get drunk. Like,
maybe off of just the one because
I don't even remember
huge.
what the food was like. So sorry, but if you want a huge mimosa for a great deal, Mimosa Gourmet in Las Vegas.
Now let me ask you: is there ice in this glass?
I don't recall. I was
good
drunk.
Because look,
no
my
ice.
mimosa drinkers understand. Don't put no ice
in my champagne.
In my champagne. In my wine, don't put no ice.
Yeah.
Okay. So, because at the end of the day, if the glass is humongous, but it's halfway with ice,
I don't think it was no ice.
Off that. Yeah, it couldn't have been.
I don't think it was no
couldn't
ice.
Have been.
I was lit. I tell you that. So Mimosa Gourmet is this week's brunch abroad. Check them out if you're in Las Vegas.
Yes. I gotta go back to Las Vegas.
Vegas, them Vegas deals be dealing too.
They do. They do. I'm terrible. I just low key refuse to visit Vegas in the summertime.
Yeah, the heat. I know. I'm not looking forward to over 100-degree weather, but
yeah, I'll wait till September.
Vegas, here I come.
But the deals are dealing for the summertime if you're okay with bearing the dry heat. Perfect. Last but not least, question of the day, guys. Yes. So this one,
I feel triggered.
I don't know what you're going to choose if it makes you feel better. Question of the day, guys, is Chicago or Houston? Yeah. And this is actually not as easy as it may sound because I'm a lover of both.
That is hard.
And I know Jasmine is a lover of both.
That's hard. I'm triggered.
So I will go first to give my girl the time to get her thoughts together.
Please.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to act like this is easy for me either. However, I think that my decision will be, I can't believe I'm saying this, Chicago.
Oh, I wasn't expecting it.
I know, guys, because literally I was moving to Houston. Like, Houston is my city. It's like, I left my heart in the South. Yeah. I should have been a Texas girl. So I have no idea. I'm definitely a Houston hottie. I have no idea how Chicago happened, but it's happening for a couple reasons. Number one, the mother effing food in Chicago.
Yes.
Great, but granted, the food in Houston as well, but the food in Chicago. Mm-hmm. The vibes in Chicago, but then the vibes in Houston as well.
It's a tough one. I'm still thinking.
Here is where, I'm about to tell you where the ultimate decision transpired. It has everything to do with the weather. That's it. Because everything else, in my opinion, they match. But the weather, y'all, too hot for me gets me like a lot. And I am weird, like I have chronic nosebleeds. So when I get too hot, guys, I know it's random. But when I get too hot, my nosebleeds, guys, it's weird. So nevertheless, I gotta go where I can at least be Windy a little bit cooler.
That's fair. That's fair.
So Chicago.
Okay. I'm still thinking. This is tough. Chicago or Houston? Y'all know I love Chicago.
We know it. We know.
Oh my gosh. I love Chicago. Chicago is like one of the most beautiful cities ever. But I am going to go with Houston.
Okay.
Because Houston is lit.
I knew it. I knew it.
And I'm not a super lit girl.
But
like,
when you
know,
lit, you
I
lit.
like to chill. I like to brunch, little happy hour, keep it cute, go to dinner. Houston, you want to get that. Like, I definitely love fine dining in Houston. The food is great in Houston, obviously. But they're so lit.
Mm-hmm. No, that's facts.
Every brunch, every day party, like so lit. Also, I'm dropping a Houston itinerary, so right now my mind is on Houston. I already got a Chicago itinerary, so check that out. Travel Goddess.
We will drop it in the show notes. Yes.
But Houston, just as I'm collecting this information right now, like I'm like, yo, everywhere is a vibe. Everywhere is a vibe.
Everywhere.
From breakfast to dinner.
And everything in between.
Everything in between and after.
Yes.
Is a vibe.
That's so true.
And I don't usually like to go outside, but the strip clubs,
go outside in
the
Houston.
day parties, the brunch, like lit, like super lit.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Houston.
That's fair. Well, what will you guys choose? Comment below. Let us know if you're feeling more Chicago or feeling more Houston, and maybe even why. Yeah. We would love to hear from you. And of course, if you have feedback or suggestions, you can certainly also drop those in the comments if you want to hear specific topics or want us to just kind of visit a specific destination and tell you about it. You can drop them in the comments, or you can send us an email at info@travelflysexy.com.
Yes, and be sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok, 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗍, for more content, clips, and everything.
Because we be outside.
Period.
And we don't want you to miss it. All right? That's our show.
Yes, thanks for tuning in, y'all. Episode 10. We made it.
I feel like, oh my goodness.
I feel like 15, we should do something special.
15? Why 15?
Maybe 20.
Maybe 20.
Maybe 20. I was trying to go sooner for y'all. It could have been 10, but who would have thought we made it this far?
I definitely was not ready to be like, this is episode 10?
Episode 10 already.
How we get here?
Episode 20. If we get there, we might have something for y'all.
But we appreciate the love. We appreciate the feedback. And we appreciate the follows, the shares. We see you guys. We thank you for, just buying into what we love, which is travel, and then telling you about it.
Yes.
With that being said, we'll see you next time.
See y'all.
Bye.